Take a ride with us while we chase Union Pacific Big Boy number 4014 on a portion of its Heartland of America tour through Missouri and Arkansas. The 4014 was built in 1941. It's 132 feet long and weighs 1.2 million pounds. The locomotive has a 4-8-8 four-wheel arrangement, which means it has 4 wheels on the leading set of pilot wheels, which guide the engine, 8 drivers, another set of 8 drivers, and 4 wheels following, which support the rear of the locomotive. Originally built to burn coal, the engine has been converted to oil and carries a 6,500-gallon oil tank. It also has 25,000 gallons of water capacity in the main tender. Since being restored in 2019, the 4014 has traveled all over the Union Pacific system, promoting public relations for the company. Earlier this summer, the 4014 toured in 5 states during its westward bound tour from Wyoming to California. At the conclusion of its westward tour, the 4014 took a little bit of a break, but then departed on its Heartland of America tour. This tour started in Wyoming and proceeded to go across Nebraska, Iowa, Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado, and then back to Wyoming. We chased the 4014 for 3 days that starts in Piedmont, Missouri and concludes in North Little Rock, Arkansas. Sit back and relax and join us as we chase the 4014 as she goes steaming along the line in this video. Once the train arrived in Poplar Bluff, the 4014 cut away from its passenger consist and proceeded past the station to take on water and be on display for public viewing. While the locomotive was taking water, this allowed us to take some still photography of the engine in the nighttime and the rain. After watering was complete, the 4014 reversed back and coupled up to its consist. Once the consist was put all back together, the 4014 then proceeded with its train to switch tracks and go into storage for the night in the yard. In order for the train to be facing the right direction to go to North Little Rock, the train had to be towed in reverse from Poplar Bluff to Dexter, Missouri. This gave us a unique opportunity to see the 4014 in action in reverse. Now facing the right direction, we went to Malden, Missouri next, where we could see the locomotive's articulation swing as she went around a curve. In Paragould, Arkansas, we were treated to an unexpected stop as the 4014 took the siding so a train could overtake it from the rear. After the other train passed, the 4014 departs Paragould and comes out of the siding and goes back onto the main line. In Jonesboro, Arkansas, we were invited into the cab by engineer Ed Dickens and fireman Ted Schulte. Ed showed us all the modern technologies that's been equipped on the 4014, which include PTC, positive train control, and the diesel MU box that can control the diesel that trails along with the train along the line. Ted showed us their shutdown procedures on the 4014, which includes bottling the boiler up with water, getting pressure to right at 300, and then shutting the fuel off. Here's a look at the oil burner in action in the firebox.
Okay, say that again there, the steam engine there in the one rail.
In a display of pride and craftsmanship, the 4014 number board emblem has been fabricated and welded to the cab floor of the locomotive. In these next two photos, you can get a sense of the view that the engineer and fireman have from the cab. Often you see the crew leaning out of the cab windows for better visibility, and this is precisely why. We would like to give a special thank you to engineer Ed Dickens and fireman Ted Schulte for giving us the VIP tour in the cab of the 4014. What's a trip in the cab without a selfie before it's over? In this photo, we see Ed, Ted, my stepson Jude, and friends Andrew and Ricky Durden, a husband and wife steam crew from the Tennessee Valley Railroad Museum in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Day 3 of our chase began as the train departed Jonesboro, Arkansas, bound for North Little Rock. The chasers were out in full force, and the tracks ran near a 2-lane road for the majority of the trip. This made chasing very difficult as people were trying to pace the locomotive, so a lot of the day was looking at the rear of the train. Thankfully, the engine stopped in a couple of little towns for servicing stops and for public exhibit. This helped us get ahead of the train for our next shots. Our last shot of the chase turned out to be our best shot of the whole trip. The 4014 was at speed going through Whitehall, Arkansas, waking up the whole neighborhood. In conclusion, we would like to thank the Union Pacific Railroad for keeping mainline steam alive and sharing it with a new generation.